Hey guys, welcome to another session of CZN. Very much like my Renoa video, I think, which was one of my first voiced over videos in terms of like her deck, theory crafting, and kind of what you want to look for. I got a lot of good comments on that one, and a lot of people helped me brainstorm better builds and better ways to play. Definitely keep on learning just because this game is still so super fresh. But for Rin, I actually kind of had to learn her forcefully, since you can see in terms of how many combatants I have. I only have 2 5-stars at the moment. So I did build Rin for content that needed 2 teams. And I think she doesn't disappoint. And I definitely see her potential. She will need a team that is unselfish, which means that they are fully support, card manipulating, lowering AP, buffs, and damage, and heals, but no attacks. Rin's basic premise is that she's a really good DPS, and she can almost have infinite turns, I'm putting that in air quotes, without killing your team, as long as you don't have someone else do an attack card, because once that happens, she'll lose her momentum, and you have to pick it up again. We're going to talk about that in her kit. We're going to showcase the team, and I'm going to kind of go through, I think, her best in slot team members, which again, like I said, I do not own. So that's going to be a bit sad, but I think you'll see the potential in our combat demo. But let's talk about the cards first. I'll show you my save data and what I have going on. Again, one of my runs, it's not a super heavy run. It was a pretty light one. So we could definitely do better. But priorities to remove, I think definitely your shield card, as in most of your main DPS, you want to get rid of that. It's just a waste of AP. Definitely doesn't side with your kit and what she can actually do. I think a secondary removal for sure would actually be this 2 AP Obtained Dark Mist stance card. Now, to kind of give you a slight idea of these cards, she basically needs to obtain Dark Mist stance, otherwise you'll lose the passive. Anything that has the base damage on top or a description on top before you see Dark Mist Blade Art, Dark Mist stance, Dark Cloud stance, don't get confused with the language. I was confused for super long, but they're all the same thing, okay? But anything with that line, that's all blanked out if you don't have the initial Dark Mist stance of it like unlocked. In the combat demo, I'll show you, I'll point out the icon as well to know when it's on or off as well. But anyways, you'll lose basically half of her abilities if you don't have that on. So having this card and having this card is going to be very, very good for you. The reason why I say to remove this one is because she also needs a ton of turns to really output as much damage as possible per turn. And so you really don't want to shell out 2 AP just for 224 damage and to obtain the stance. If you're starting off, I would say just remove this first, and then this one, after you get some decent epiphanies, I would just remove that. That's my personal take. If you even have a S tier level deck, you could possibly even remove this and just rely on this. But if you don't want that RNG, maybe just keep this one because it's 1 AP. Talk about the first epiphany in your starter card. We'll talk about this. Like I said, in her rules, definitely avoid anything that increases AP. We don't want that in her kit. It's almost antithetical. I think the issue with this is that people could be sucked into the 367 damage, especially when you compare it to her base, which is what, 122 plus 50 if you have the Dark Mist stance, right? Now, that's going to be the issue in my opinion. It's that the 2 AP again is just too much of an action point sink that you just do not want. I personally don't know what this card can be used means in the third version of it. It has a lot of damage, but I think that this probably won't be the best either. This one has an additional damage count. I'm assuming it's just a duplicate of this. And then this one is just like literal number upgrade from her base form. From the card's base form. So this one's like one of the lowest level. I would say this one would be one of the highest priority ones for me, because if you already have just one card in hand, and this is 0 AP, so like why not run this as one of your first damage cards? You're already at 152% damage, as this is 153. And most likely with her best in slot, team members, you're gonna have a ton of cards because again, she'll want at least 5 skill cards to do her optimal damage on the hand of the turn. Okay, we'll talk about that. So these are attack cards, so she doesn't conflict with herself, fortunately. At least if you get all the right epiphanies. Now this is a skill card, this is a skill card, but I think that this can be an upgrade card as well. So let me double check this. This one does say draw one card and then gain the Dark Mist stance. So you might be thinking, hey Dragon, you know what? I have her, but why not keep this one so I have an extra chance of gaining it? Like I said, the idea for her is she should be for long form combat and ideally not mobs. She doesn't have really AoE, really a lot of AoE skills. I think she has an ability to do some AoE with the right partner or something, but take a look at this. Again, if you see 2 AP, just completely skip it. Do not fall for it, whatever reason. I think her best in slot for these ones for sure. The shield is not good. Again, she's there to do damage. You don't want the shield. That's just a bait. Draw 1 own card and then Dark Mist Blade are cost -1 for 1 turn. This one's kind of mid tier to me. Draw 1 own card and then you do an extra 50% damage. That's not also good. This one is definitely the one you want. You'll move 2 of her main damage dealing cards that can have epiphanies to your hand even if you use it, right? So if you read from draw pile or graveyard to hand. So let's say for example in one single turn you get this card, oh sorry, I should point to here. You get this card and you get both the Annihilation and the Black Dance card. You play those cards and then you can click this and then you draw them back again. And assuming you have enough AP, you're just gonna do so much damage in that one turn. So this is best in slot for this epiphany for sure, in my opinion. And then it's basically these 2 cards here. This Annihilation, her main damage cards are these 2. So let's talk about this in order. 153 and then +1 damage count. So if you have the Dark Mist stance, which again, the presumption is you will or you should, you'll have more damage, right? It's going to be double, I guess, +1 damage count. So 230, this one's straight upgrade numbers game. This one is 51 times 2 damage, later +2 hits. I don't know how much that would be. That sounds pretty good as well. I think in my current deck, I don't have the most min-max version of this card, but most of these are actually pretty good. If you just look at the numbers and look at their effects, they're actually all pretty good. This is, I think, her second highest damage dealing card, if not tied for the 3rd with this one, Drawing Slash. But again, you want to highly, you want to epiphany this one, you want to epiphany this one as well, assuming that you got this one epiphanied to the one we talked about. Let's go back here anyways. Let's analyze that. Let's just over skip this, right? So you got 204 times, because you have 204 damage in the middle one and then plus 100. So I mean, it's already kind of better, right? It's 300. I think this is still better, assuming that +1 damage count means the same damage. And then this one is, and this is not even accounting for the special epiphanies that you get from monsters and stuff. So that's yeah, those effects would be insane. Usually you gain run. Those effects are pretty insane. Usually you like gain a resolve or whatnot and all that good jazz. All cards in hand cost -1 for 1 turn. This one's actually pretty good. Actually, do not discount this. Like I said, if you don't have the right team to fill skill cards and reduce AP or gain AP like Mika can, this card actually is no joke. Actually, maybe one of her best in slot as well, because it would basically give you like a turn order. You would run like, assuming your hand has like this card, it has this one, it has this one, and maybe even this one. Or even if you don't have this, if you have this, you're guaranteed to have one of these two, right? Or both rather. So I think this card actually might be best in slot now that I'm reading this. I don't have this in my kit, I believe. My current kit. Because yeah, if you reduce the turn, you could just spam the cards. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is that this card and this card, they all have this passive called haste. Now, if you read the top there, it says this card does not reduce enemies' action count, which means that on her turn, especially if you're running these cards, you're not gonna reduce the action count. Oh, sorry, I said Epiphany this. You can't Epiphany the last card, I always forget. They're not going to reduce action count. So theoretically speaking, you can keep fueling her, assuming you have infinite AP or you reduce AP to 0, and you can draw hands, and you know, you can have people pull cards and draw cards as well. She's just going to be a powerhouse again, not receiving any damage because they can't do anything, and you just cycle and cycle and cycle, right? This one's the one that you can Epiphany, and I think this one I did change as well. So the base, okay, let's talk about the base one first. So for one turn, retain Dark Cloud stance. So this is already an unoptimal card from the get-go. And again, the premise is that this is assuming your teammates will also use an attack card. So if you want to retain that for one turn, then you would run this before you spam an attack card. But again, that means that you're already running a suboptimal team. So why would you run Rin in the place of like a Kayron or a Rinoa, where they can do all their stuff by themselves without getting affected by other people's attack cards, but at the same time benefit from the regular buffs that you can get and the AP gained. So this kit is unfortunate, but her epiphanies do fix it. So at the start of the turn, gain Dark Mist stance. You could do that as well, but it costs 1 AP. Again, if your deck doesn't have enough ways to get your Dark Mist stance started, maybe number 4 is okay. But if this is in Dark Mist stance, if you're in the state, so this again, my presumption is always presume you're going to gain that from the other cards. So plus 50 Rin's attack card damage. This one's not a bad upgrade as well. And then for one turn, retain Dark Mist stance, but create a Dark Mist Secret Annihilation card and apply Ephemeral to that card. I forgot what Ephemeral effect is. Let me know in the comments down below. This one could be good, but I say like this one is just like easy math, no condition. You know that you're gonna get a good deal out of that already. This one costs 0 AP. For one turn, retain the stance, and then for one turn, 30% attack damage. The only reason why I'd say this one is okay as well is because it costs 0. But again, because the effect is that you're just retaining, it's kind of weird. You're technically, like, assuming you got the proper team, you're technically, the top clause doesn't even matter, right? So realistically, it's not a good buff. It's just this buff. This would be a bit better because you get basically 20 over this. So this one on the right. And then this one, you get 60, for one turn, 60% attack card damage. I think this one lasts. This one isn't turn-based, right? So this one actually is pretty good, I think, overall. This keeps you, like, buffed. This one, I need to know what the ephemeral is, but I still think this one is I would say this one reads the best at the moment. And then the last card in her deck, no Epiphany, but this one is definitely important. Damage count according to number of skill cards in the hand, max 5 times. So it is low base, but if you have skill cards in the hand, you can really amplify this. This would be her strongest damage skill, and I would say stronger than any one singular damage skill, maybe outside of Kayron, and if you don't count Dirge Bullets and Rinoa's kit. But you get at least the output is going to be really high. But to keep in mind that this one does not have haste. But assuming you ran this, you ran this, you ran this, and then you had this and Epiphanied, you pull them back out, and maybe you ran this and you had the 50% attack at the start after you obtain this. That's going to be an insane turn. But like I said, that's not really realistic unless you have the proper team. This is my current save data for this deck. I kept both of the Dark Mist stance because I found that I generally only got one or the other, and it didn't always come out. And for Drawing Slash, I kind of screwed up. When I did this run, it was me creating my first ever deck for Rin. So I didn't think about the AP count, right? So because it was one of those monster epiphanies, special epiphanies, I took it because of the shiny. So that's why I fell for the thing I said do not fall for with the extra damage. And then this one random ally performs coordinate attack to the target is actually, it reads really nice. It's cool to have the graphic, but no, it's actually bait. So the other ones I talked about were actually better. Now this one did work out because this one, like I said, I believe this is the best in slot. This one that doesn't epiphany at all. And then this one is the one I would say to go for, which is the plus 50 attack damage. And this one, oh, I don't think I even had a better choice. I remember this. This was a duplicated card though. So yeah, so both of them actually had that epiphany duplicated. And it was a short run, like I said. It wasn't even, I think it was like a level 3 run. Rin's really hard to use in Chaos, in my opinion, without the proper team. Now, I think her best in slot is another 5-star, which is Orlia, and 4-star Cassius, because both of them can do a ton of card manipulation, zero cost cards, and you can actually create, and most of them are skill cards, and that's why it's really beneficial. Other characters like Mika would be good. She has a lot of skill cards as well, as you can see in her deck. Maybe not that so much, but at her base, she has a lot of skill. If you save data properly, you're gonna remove the attack, so that's also good. But she could also manipulate and get more AP, so that's really good as well. Nia, which I don't have, which is a 4-star, she'll also be pretty good because you could utilize her her kit to manipulate the draw cards, so that so Rin might be able to set up the stances early. But generally, Rin, if she can't get the stance in turn 1, she'll get it in turn 2 anyway, just because of like whatever card she has, they're gonna be exhausted, and you're gonna be drawing them anyway. Or not exhausted, but in the graveyard, they're gonna be discarded. That's the shit. So you're gonna draw them anyway. So it's either turn 1 or turn 2. So Nia is good, but it's not like a must. So for my demonstration run, I'm gonna run Ray, and I'm just gonna skip her attack. But other skills are gonna be decent for her, for Rin, because at least I can increase damage. So I think Ray is a decent choice. And also you could choose a better deck. Like you could choose in a deck that doesn't have that many attacks, which unfortunately I kept a lot of attack on her. But if I wanted to build a Ray specifically to work with Rin, I would just have a deck that is like just focus on skill cards and upgrades at the most. And then we're gonna run what's her name, Mika. Actually, maybe I should talk about the partners as well. No, I'm not gonna talk about partners. I get to save partners for a different video. Unfortunately, I don't have any 5-star partners, so it's actually, it doesn't feel as good, you know. It doesn't feel as spicy to talk about. So we're gonna do the potential and not potential, growth. It's not growth, sorry. There you go. Promotion material, and she's a controller for Ray. So we're gonna go down here. I'm gonna switch out the characters. Let's go Mika, and let's go Ray. And I'm gonna run difficulty 4, which I'm capped at right now, and I'm gonna run all 3 so that we can showcase at least her rotation. Hopefully I am on auto, turn it off. Now, first things first, to get used to the UI, she has that little sword icon on the bottom here. And this is, not that, but that sword icon under the HP bar, that is the Dark Mist stance. If that glows orange, that means you are in that stance, all right? So as you can see here, without the stance on, everything that is like the requirement for Dark Mist stance will be grayed out. So you can't use it. So realistically, this card is just 213 damage. That's not bad. But a lot of characters can already do something like that, so that's, you know, that's not good either. So we're gonna use this first. Let's see here. This one is damage to cards at the cost of 1. So actually, we could run this for the most efficient. And this is what I mean. We kind of need a lot of AP here. I'm gonna run this as well. We're gonna keep the heal. We're gonna get our Dark Mist stance right now, and then now this. So she's gonna get stronger and stronger. And of course, this is like, you know, this is really, really low hanging fruit in terms of content to be showcasing her, but I just wanted to run her rotation. Now, she already is in Dark Mist stance, so all you have to do now is avoid using attack cards. So like this, do not use. Of course, we don't even have the AP to do it, and then we don't need this anymore. So as I talked about, this is why I think in a proper deck, you probably want to remove this, because you already have a 1. So this one, if I didn't Epiphany it to be 2 AP like a dumb as I was, I would have been able to gain the stance on this card as well. So realistically, the card I used in the previous turn, which is 1 AP, and then this would be 0 AP, that would be the best case scenario. So we don't need this at all in the deck, right? We could use that to draw later, but let's use this first. Let's increase that damage. That's now 807 damage, okay? So this is like these guys have no HP to really even sustain what I have. Now again, remember that damage does scale on your base stats, so when you're getting endgame builds, endgame gear, your memory fragments, and when you can get the substats and the right main stats and even get the equipment sets comboed, man, I can just imagine how much damage he's gonna do. It's gonna be insane. I don't think I need to draw anything on this turn because it won't even help for the fight. But again, just make sure that if you don't have a support, like a full-on support character, you just make sure you do not attack. So right here, I think we're just gonna get ready for waves, so I can do I can get enough AP for some cool showcase. All right, so we don't have. Okay, so we have this. Okay, so he's gonna die unfortunately. But you can see here we have now 3 skill cards, including this one. So this is actually pretty good. This is a good hand to demonstrate. So realistically, we want to use this when we have a lot of skill cards. If this was a higher HP enemy, we could use this first. Actually, we can. But ideally, we could have used this as well. And now this costs 0, right? So that Epiphany had that effect. This costs 0. He would be dead, so I would lose my hand. So I want to just showcase this. I just want to get it back, at least. But imagine if it was a longer fight. You use this and you use that card later, and boom, 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 all 3 of them come back. Of course, this is going to be slightly weaker on comeback because in my hand, I only had 3 skill cards. I lose the 1 to retrieve it, but it's still going to be pretty good, right? So we'll just use this because this has a cool animation. We should have used it, honestly, without me pulling it out. But anyways, so that actually sounded kind of sexual, what I just said. We're going to do this. So now we have 4 skill cards. So we can actually showcase a pretty decent showcase. Not 5 yet, but it can do good, right? So you can imagine if you have her maxed out and potential and she has some crit as well. You can imagine that, woo, it's going to be super spicy, right? Let's do this. And of course, you can use these cards as damage. It's not like terrible, but like I said, I think optimal deck, you probably don't need that. Realistically, we'd have someone that can also draw, but we don't need any of these. We don't need AP on that turn. We already used up all her cards. We could do this, we could buff. So like I said, like Ray is okay, but she's not super optimal. Yeah, like right now we can't even showcase what her full potential would be, because basically she'll kill or have too many other cards that are unusable. So realistically, it would be good if you had a lot of support characters that can also draw cards. So the chance of you actually getting you know, Rin's cards back into hand is gonna be better, especially from the graveyard. Right, so nice. These are actually pretty good. Both of these together would make this card cost 0, I believe. Let's do this. That's cost 0 now. Very, very nice. Oh, attack buff it. We'll just end. This is the last one. He died because of agony. I think I have a piece of gear on Rin that does agony. So anyways, that's kind of like the showcase. I think you can see the potential. I don't have exactly a boss encounter I can showcase, at least not that I can think of. But yeah, so that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know why, to me, Rin is important to make a video for, because a lot of people will neglect her. Like I said, you have a lot of other damage dealers that will outpace her, that would be easier to build around, and she needs quite a lot of criteria to really pop off. But I think she's really fun. I like her concept. I hope maybe in the future, maybe she gets buffed as well. She has some time to shine, because I like the character design. I think the character design is very, very nice. And her animations. We didn't even get to show the ego skill. But anyways, that's it for this video. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server. Subscribe to YouTube if you haven't, and your comment will always be appreciated. So leave your theory crafts below, what works with her, what has worked for you in terms of Rin's cards and strategy. And I'll see you guys next time.